So now the task pad, PowerLogic Ion Enterprise software loads up. The Vista is to allow you to display things like data, waveforms from devices on your network. The web reporter allows you to generate reports. You want to generate history and things on various parameters. The management console right here allows you to change things, like if you want to add a device on the network. Or so mostly what you're going to do is come in here to Vista, press that once, and the password for guest is 0, and that will bring you into main 2. Or it may possibly bring you into the last view you were in. But main 2 is on the left of the gear, main 1's on the right. And it brings you into kind of a single line of the voltages. So basically it's showing you, for instance, this is from A to C phase voltage, C to B phase. So those are the phase-to-phase voltages, as well as currents. That also gives you the average 3-phase values down here, as well as some power, kW, frequency, power factor, various things. You have tabs across the top here. Power quality is the next tab. It can take a little bit to populate, and the other thing is you may or may not have certain functions in your meter. So this is just an example of like a log that you could use, and it just gives you time and date stamp over time of events. Like for instance, this is total harmonic distortion, A to B, 5.7. It says over THD, which means it's over the set value. Whatever that value is, it's larger than that value. So now those parameters came in, and you can view all your harmonic distortions here. Voltage, current. So you can look at your power quality. If this number went high, then you'd know something was wrong on the grid. Big time. That's the voltage. And then, like I said, there's a lot of parameters on here that you may not really look at, like energy demand. You may not necessarily look at that. So, and it's just loading up the data at this point. So that's why you have these dots here. Just kind of have to be patient with it. Again, there's logs and all these different tabs. And each of these logs is going to give you a time and date stamp. And it looks like right now that those are accurate based on the time and date at the bottom here. And then what you would do is you'd set points in the meter for those mins and maxes that you want to trigger, and it'll log them. Like if the voltage goes over 10%, that would be one log you could do. And then we'll just stack them up in there, and you can generate reports. Input and outputs aren't going to work because they're not available on this device. It's an option. And again, the alarms are, there's active alarms and there's inactive alarms, and it means just like it sounds. So an active alarm is still present, and it's going to blink on the front of the meter that there's an active alarm. And so then you can see here that that these are all inactive at this time. So, for instance, under voltage, over voltage, over harmonic distortion, unbalance, under frequency, over frequency. Now the frequency happened to be disabled because this is a utility application. So, and like I said, each time you go into one of these tabs or screens, you're going to want to just be patient because it takes a little bit for it to load up. This is diagnostic, so it's essentially like a health. How healthy is the meter? They have a maintenance log here.
How far is the logging back before that becomes older?
Well, it's based on your sample frequency and the amount of, so in other words, it varies. You get more time if you don't sample as fast. Now if you trigger events, you can go really far. So if you have a triggered thing like over and under voltage, you know, you can log that for a long time because it's only ever going to take those when the events happen. But if you're sampling every 30 seconds, you know, you're going to fill up that memory real quick. So here it tells you all the basic parameters of the meter. Your 3-phase, 3-wire, 2 CTs. Your primary voltage, your secondary on the PT. The current transformer, primary and secondary, all that stuff's programmed into the meter. Now it actually says the rotation is ABC. You might want to check that. Because I double check what your rotation really is here. Polarity, normal. It can actually sense if it's wired wrong, and the polarity would show off. That's pretty much all that's available in the screens here. The only other thing we could take a look at, this web reporter, which again, this allows you to generate reports. So the sort of things that we were looking at, you can generate reports to print out. Takes a while to load. And again, you only have to click on it once. Trying to log in here. You can see it's still trying because it's spinning up here. So they have default reports here. It says please choose one from the hierarchy, so you have to click on one. So these are the type of reports that are already kind of preloaded. let's do main one. It should change in the, yeah. So it shows right here, that's our source. Configured rate, that's what we were talking about. This is actually setting the whole report up, so maybe we'll just do like real power, flat rate. And I don't know exactly what to put here. For the cost. It's a KW cost, 15 cents maybe. Let's see what happens. So we're basically doing the last 7 days of main one. And it's an energy. We can edit those out later. All right. And it actually, with this one I just picked as demand cost, energy cost. So it actually came back with the real power value here in 2.7 megawatts, I'm guessing. And I just put in 15 cents a kilowatt, $408. So you can do reports like that. That's what this is for, and so you're going to have a purpose in mind of what you want to know, events or whatever it is, based on something that happened, information you want to know, and then you just go set it up and run it. So that is what the web reporter's for. And like I said, we went over Vista. That shows you all the kind of real-time parameters in here, like this. And then, like we said, the management console over here is for editing devices, adding devices, that sort of thing.
We want to do that.
Yeah. So normally you're just going to be working with Vista or maybe generating a report.
Right? Okay.